Hi, this is Kuving Tao. It is September 18th, 2010, and there is something really drastic that occurred in the financial world on September 7th, and that was like the Japanese yen rose dramatically against all other currencies. Here against the dollar, $1 was able to buy 121.7 yen on the beginning of that day, which I believe was Tuesday, uh, a week and a half ago. By the end of the day, $1 could only buy 83.6 yen. So the dollar plummeted in value against the yen by 31%. The yen rose against the dollar 31%, is the other way of looking at it. So we have a strong Japanese yen just within a matter of like 8 hours, I guess. Something. That the effects on that and like okay, so it's been a week and a half later, and the Japanese yen has still remained strong. It hasn't gone down and hasn't like had massive fluctuation or anything like that. It's just remained strong against the dollar, and like I said, against all other currencies, not just the U.S. dollar, but all other currencies. So so the Japanese central bank had to make this occur. I don't really know the full processes on how they make that happen, but they did. And what that means is the is that Japan. Um, well, first of all, let's look at it from the American consumer perspective. Americans are not going to be buying uh, Japanese products anymore. I mean, it's going to plunge the amount of, 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 of the Japanese exports, what Japanese is shipping, like manufacturing, and what they ship to other countries. Well, the other countries aren't going to be willing to buy their product anymore. The U.S. is not, because it's too expensive. The U.S. is not. U.S. customers are going to be buying less Toyotas and Subaru. That's Japanese, right? And like Japanese manufactured electronics and that sort of thing. So Japan is taking a huge hit here by doing this, like with their export industry. And conversely, like the Japanese people aren't going to really be, I don't think, so much interested in buying their own countries like products when they can get them cheaper, far cheaper um, from other nations. So they're going to be importing lots, the Japanese people a lot of their things. So like I got this kind of like old news from 2005, old statistics. Um, it's okay, so it's 5 years old, but okay, uh, top 15 countries for Japanese exports in 2005. Well, number one was the U.S. with 23% of we purchased 23% of their exports, um, and that's like 136 billion. That number is going to plunge. We're not going to be buying America or these other countries either are going to be buying their exports. Um, okay, so and also it has the top 15 countries Japan imported from in 2005, and number one was China. They imported $108.5 billion worth of things from China in 2005. Now, the greatest beneficiary of these things, of this move by Japan's central bank, um, is China. And like I said, this is 2005, so 5 years ago, and China was the number one producer of what the Japanese bought. Now, it's increased probably in percentage since then. and that's just going to increase even more dramatically now. So what we have pretty much is a move by the Japanese central bank. That's the people that control the politicians, just like our central bank controls our politicians, and that's how it is worldwide. So what we have here is a move by the Japanese central bank to form a strategic alliance with their neighbors China, and it is a very, very strong alliance move that they did. And the reasons are becoming far more obvious. Now I've been talking about the global economic collapse, well, like the collapse of the U.S. dollar bill, which would equate to also like a global sort of economic collapse. Um, I don't know when that's going to occur, but like the timelines and that sort of thing. It seems to be rather steady. There was no double dip session. I was fucking around with numbers and shit. It's continuing down, but it seems rather steady. I guess there's a huge second wave of people that are going to now be defaulting on their mortgages, greater than the first number, and that's like starting to um, be known to everyone now. Um, but the uh, Chinese are going to rule the world economically, and it's going to happen, I think, a lot quicker now. Like Japan struck up an alliance with China for a reason. It's because China is going to be the number one economic power in the world, and I think that's going to occur within the next 10 to 15 years, where it can like kind of pretty much thoroughly be stated that China is the number one economic power in the world, and that's why Japan's making so nice fun with that move. So this is huge. Ground ground truth, and probably not talked about too much in the media, but probably not talked about too much in the media, but the actual consequences of of this action. Like, yeah, so that's going to be a very strong alliance in future years because of this action by the Japanese bank. And like I said, it's going to hurt the Japanese economy, their export industry, but I guess they found it to be far more beneficial. This is the impact that I to think about. They found it far like, okay, it's going to hurt the Japanese economy, but they found it far more beneficial to strike up this alliance with China for the long term and to take that sort of hit economically. That's how strong China's going in the upcoming years. A lot quicker than I realized. Okay, bye.